Hey guys, I'm Sage Valentine and I'm back here to review another episode of AMC's The Walking Dead. This time it's all about Season 8, Episode 14, entitled... Give me a second, because I don't want to say the wrong title. Still gotta mean something. So, let's just get down to it. This is what I wanted in an episode. I wanted a small focus on a character that is not Daryl or Negan or Rick. Someone new. And I liked this tiny little focus on Jadis. Heck, I liked the whole storyline involving Jadis basically kidnapping Negan and torturing him for a little while. I thought that was pretty awesome. Also in this episode, non-comic book readers were able to see the Negan that I like. I've said it before, and for those of you who are just watching this episode for the first time, I'm going to say it again. I like Negan as a character. I don't like everything that he has done. But there's a certain point when Negan becomes likable. I know that's hard to believe for all of you that don't like Negan. There's a certain point where he becomes somewhat palatable, somewhat likable, but not to a point where you're just like, oh my God, they're making me like this person. No, the one cool thing about Robert Kirkman's writing is that he will introduce a character, but he will make that character a well-rounded character, so you will see the good and the bad of said character. So right now at this point in the comic books, because they're up to issue 178, which was honestly an awesome issue. If you haven't read that one, please go pick it up. It's amazing. Princess is just awesome, and I still cannot stand Sebastian. He's a whiny little baby, and I'm not feeling his whole rapey vibe, but you'll see what I'm talking about when you read issue 178. So in regards to Negan in this episode, we were able to see a softer side of Negan. That doesn't mean psycho killer Negan has disappeared. No. You just get to see the Negan behind the mask for a moment. I liked how, he was a little bit gentler with Jadis. That is not to say that he didn't keep his guard up during the entire time, but he realized that Jadis was coming from a place of, you killed my people, or you ordered my people to be killed, so I'm going to do what I can to torture and possibly kill you. He knew how that felt, and again, he's still pissed at Simon for what Simon did, and according to Instagram, I saw a picture that was posted on one of the cast members' Instagram pages, and it showed Simon and Negan, and I am looking forward to episode 15 so much you have no idea. But this is a bit of a softer side of Negan that we're seeing, just a little teeny bit. We're gonna see a little bit more, but he's a little bit funnier at that point. There will still be people that are mad at Negan, because I'm still mad at Negan for what he did to Glenn in the comic book, and TV show Negan for what he did to Glenn and Abraham and Olivia. But you're probably going to get a bit of a softer side of him too. You're just going to be like, oh, here comes Negan. He at what he says, but you're still going to be like, still side-eyeing you for what you did. So I wasn't the biggest fan of Jadis, as you've known if you've watched my videos. If not, now you know. Not a big fan of her. A lot of people aren't. But I think I changed my mind a bit about her, and I felt really sorry for her during this episode because she's really grieving. Like, she really looked at these people like a true family, and she's the last person left. And she is hella smart for playing dead. But Gary was super wrong for spitting on her. That was disgusting. Now, Jadis decided to kidnap Negan and play 50 Shades of Negan without the sex. So, seeing her holding Lucille was pretty hilarious, considering the fact that so far this season, 2 people have held Lucille other than Negan. And the first one being Rick, about an episode or 2 ago. Or was it last episode or the episode before last? Probably was the episode before last. Either way, that was awesome. Also, just seeing someone in control of Negan other than Negan was pretty cool. I really do live for Rick and Negan's fight scenes, especially in the comic books. They're amazing. So Ezekiel wants to go out to look for Henry, but Carol's just not into it. I think that's because Carol is thinking of all the kids that have died in her charge. More than anything, she's thinking of the situation with Sophia. And on a side note, this episode was pretty awesome because it gave us glimpses back to season 2 and season 1, particularly involving Henry, which I'll get to. Also involving that bar with Rick, I'll get to that. And the whole situation with Morgan and Rick, and I'll get to that part later. But Carol believes that Henry's already dead, and I think that's possible. But I also think that in a way, she's scared that he's dead, kind of like Sophia was dead. Now, Tara isn't sick. I didn't think she was. She and Daryl are talking. Daryl's still pissed. He believes Dwight's a traitor. Tara has turned over a new leaf in regards to Dwight since he shot her in the arm with that arrow, but she's still alive. And she believes that he helped them because of the fact that she's still alive. And she told Daryl, listen, I'm done with this. Let's go after Negan and the Saviors. Let's go after Dwight thing. She no longer wants to kill Dwight. Now, Rick and Michonne are together. Michonne read her letter. We find her crying, and she asks Rick to read his letter. Or she kind of asks him if he wants to read his letter, or has he read the letter, something like that. Anyway, I was on Twitter, and I was tweeting, and some girl said, well, hasn't Rick read the letter? I'm like, no. On a side note of that side note, when you watch Walking Dead, you really need to kind of pay attention to what's going on because you'll miss little bits. Focus less on the fact that Maggie's belly isn't showing, even though I explained the timeline quite a few times to the point where I'm kind of tired of explaining it, but pretty much it's been a couple weeks, so she's not going to have like a big, huge belly. It hasn't been like 3 weeks. I think it's been like maybe 2 weeks, but still, she's not that far along. And pay attention to these small things, but again, Rick did not read that letter until the end of this episode. Michonne emphasizes and sympathizes with Rick because she said that when she was feeling really down, really low, and was really grieving, Andrea stopped her from going crazy. So essentially, she's stopping Rick from going crazy again. Morgan's going to look for the Saviors, and Carol's like, well, I'm coming along. And I'm just like, thank you, Carol. Thank you so much because I'm worried about you, Morgan. I really don't like you going off on your own, especially because you're seeing like Gavin popping up saying, you know what you have to do or something like that. Like, he really needs to be watched. So we get down to a scene with Maggie, Diane, Rosita, I think Enid might be in that scene as well, and Daryl. And Daryl, I think he comes in, and they're all talking at first before Daryl came in about the cars being ready just in case the Saviors decide to attack again. And Daryl comes in, and they all start talking about how the Saviors might be low on ammunition. And here comes Rosita talking about how the Saviors have their bullet maker, i.e. Eugene, and she knows exactly where they get what they need to make their bullets. So Negan tries to appeal to Jadis. He says that he had nothing to do with the killing of her people. He didn't. This is the work of someone not following the program, Simon. He owns up to his mistake in trusting Simon. He just doesn't say Simon's name. And Negan says that he can help her get back what she lost, and then Jadis turns around and fakes like she's going to hit him in the face, and I'm just like, I had a feeling that was going to happen, but not the way it did. I'm not saying I thought he was going to get hit in the face, but the way she was just like, ugh, I was like, yeah. Anyway, Carol and Morgan are on the road together. Carol found a turnip, which means that the Saviors, the ones that escaped from Hilltop, they are somewhere in the area. Morgan hallucinates, runs off, and he believes that he sees Henry dead. He's just like, I think Henry said, you know what it is you were supposed to do. Morgan believes that Henry is dead. And he says that Carol knows that Henry is dead. And she said, yeah, I believe it, but I came out here to keep an eye out on you, Morgan. Morgan says that he sees dead people like that kid in the Sixth Sense movie, but he doesn't die. Every time he says I don't die, I keep thinking about that rumor whereas Lenny James allegedly has some sort of like clause in his contract where his character cannot die. And I keep thinking about that rumor every single time Morgan says that. And essentially, if you think about it in the Walking Dead world, he's not dying because he's moving over to Fear the Walking Dead. But still, I think about that rumor. So Rick stares at Carl's hat, and then he gets up and decides to leave. He's off. He's going to go off and kill the saviors. It's pretty much self-explanatory. Once he finds them, he's going to get them. That's it. So then Rick goes to Dean, the cute savior, and asks him, where do you think your fellow saviors go? And at first, Dean is just like, I don't really know. But then he starts talking about this old dive bar that's not too far from Hilltop, and it's a place that they were going to try to figure out how to turn into an outpost. So Dean begs Rick not to kill anyone or kill any more than he has to, and he truly believes that Rick could help them. Yeah, Rick could help them, but after that mess at Hilltop with those poison arrows and the poison knives and the people dying and then Carl dying, Rick is about revenge at this point. So I had a feeling that he was going to kill those saviors before he even did it, because it was giving me season 2 vibes, but I'll get to that when I get to that part of this review. So Jadis's watch goes off. Negan manages to move himself, and then Jadis brings out this freaky walker cart, and the next thing you know, Negan has a gun, is holding a flare, and has Jadis's photos all like laid out on the ground. Then we get to a commercial, and on a side note, I wish that Red Machete was turned into a TV show, because I heard a rumor a couple years back that there was supposed to be a third Walking Dead type show. And the last time I heard a rumor that turned out to be true, it was the crossover rumor, and then it was, before that, the rumor about the second show. So if that third show rumor is correct, I wish it would revolve around Red Machete and the chick in Red Machete, because she is amazing. In fact, that whole series is amazing. So we get to Carol and Morgan. They come to this walker herd at the end of the road. Then Carol sees this one walker coming out of the woods, and he's got Henry's stick impaled in him. And for a minute, that feels like some sort of sign that Henry's dead. It's like sign number 2. First, Morgan's little like Henry, I see dead people moment, and then this walker with the stick in his body. So Carol wants to go and follow the trail where that walker came from. She said that she made her peace. Morgan's like, he can't go with her because he watches people die while she saves people. So again, we get another ominous comment from Morgan. Pretty much, I have an idea that Morgan's going to die. I'm sure a lot of people do, considering the Walking Dead commercials that allude to the fact that Morgan is moving on to Fear the Walking Dead. And whenever a character either gets cast on something else, or a character is, like in Morgan's case, moving from one show to another, and this show appears to be in the past, it's clear something's going to happen to Morgan, and I just really don't want him to get his comic book storyline. But I'm not a writer on this show. I don't control how they write it. I just watch it like you guys, but I really don't want him to... I can't... That's going to be a hard episode to watch, because the rumor I heard was that something big like that was supposed to happen in episode 14, but it's never too late. Oh man, that's going to be a rough episode. So Morgan says he's not strong like Carol. He knew, watching those saviors and watching Henry, that something was going to happen. He just sat back and waited. He said that he has to kill the saviors, and basically Carol can't do anything to talk him out of it. So Jadis tells Negan to leave. her pictures alone. They are all that she has left. Negan tells Jadis about Lucille, his wife, and how she got him through life, and this bat is doing the same thing, getting him through this apocalypse life, though. Jadis wrestles to get the flare away from Negan, because I think she hears the helicopter in the area, but when she grabs it, it falls into a puddle and it sputters out. The helicopter pops up. She tries to run off to get another flare, and they're gone. And by the time she comes back, she sees that they have flown away, and she's just outdone. So Negan begs her not to burn up Lucille. Burn her and you'll have ashes. He said that he can settle. He swears that he will. He swears on his, basically on his testicles. I'm going to have to say the word. It is what it is. And he's a man of his word, which he obviously is. She agrees not to destroy Lucille, and then she just starts crying. So Rick and Morgan cross paths. Rick's trying to tell Morgan, listen, you shouldn't be out here. You're not right in the head. They are basically out there for the same thing. They want to finish it together. They want to kill off these saviors. So they walk on. They come upon a missing arm and leg and a puddle of blood, then get knocked out. They wake up in an empty bar. Now let's get down to what I was telling you about the season 2 kind of throwback. Rick in an empty bar, right? Think back to season 2.5 when Rick was in that bar with Herschel. Not that particular bar, but in a bar with Herschel and Glenn. And then those 2 dudes came in and basically Rick had to kill them without thinking. And that's when we really, really, really knew that Rick was not effing around, as they said, when it comes to the zombie apocalypse. So Rick and Morgan wake up in that empty bar. The saviors are all grouped together. I think 2 or 3 of them are sick because one had to lose a foot, one had to lose a hand. They're kind of infected, and the other saviors are debating whether or not they should kill them. Really, it's mostly Jared. Jared wants to kill those sick guys and keep it moving. The other guys are like, no, we can't do this. We could turn back. They start debating where the heck they should go. Should they go back to Hilltop? Should they go to the Sanctuary? Jared basically wants to deliver Rick to Negan, and some people are like, does Jared know that Rick is dead? Not Rick is dead. What am I thinking? Scratch that. Does Jared know what happened to Negan? No, because they've been at the Hilltop the entire time. So Rick makes a deal. I didn't believe this deal when it came out of his mouth, by the way. Rick offers to lead them back to the Hilltop, and okay, I'm gonna come back to Rick offers to lead them back to the Hilltop with a clean slate, give them a fresh start. If only they let him go. He gave them his word. Basically, the other ones are kind of looking like, well, you know what, maybe we could listen. But Jared's just like, no, 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 no. Especially when Rick says something about the herd, and the herd is kind of closing in on the area. But Rick believes that it's all a lie. Rick believes it. Jared believes that it's all a lie. And I'm just like, why didn't they kill this dude a long time ago? Because all he is trouble as a character. So he basically says that Rick is full of it. Morgan's just like, listen, I came to kill you guys. It's as simple as that. That's what I'm supposed to do. And he tells Jared, you need to save your bullets. When Jared points his gun at him, you're going to need them. Jared said, let's just dump them and bounce. And Morgan starts speaking, and he raises his voice. One dude tells Jared to chill out so that they could go back to the Hilltop. So pretty much Jared led these people, and I guess the other guys were kind of iffy once they got back into the elements. Because remember, for the most part, they were still under Negan's care. So being out in the elements on their own is kind of iffy. And then after Simon kind of said that they were traitors, kind of, sort of, these people don't want to deal with this. They just want to go back to the Hilltop. Well, everybody except for Jared. So the herd comes in and they do what they do best. Grab, attack, rip, and eat. Rick begs Jared and the rest of the saviors that are still alive at this point to cut them loose, and some of them do. Rick and Morgan take down the walkers with help from the saviors. Then they kill those saviors and or push them forward and make them walker food. Morgan looks for Jared because he goes off on his own, and then he sees dead Henry, and that's a distraction. All of a sudden, Jared gets the upper hand on him. So when Jared's kind of behind the bar or something like that, Morgan pulls this gate over. It's like one of those like stretchy gates that have like the thing up here and here. And when it stretches, like, you know how it's together like this, when it stretches, it kind of goes like this and then it goes like this at the bottom. Anyway, Jared's screaming, begging Morgan to let him out. Then Morgan grabs his hands and holds them and holds Jared in place so that Jared can be basically torn apart from behind by these walkers. And it gave me such chills because I thought about what happened to Noah, and I believe that was season 5. I still have not gotten over that death. That death was something else. But this time, a character got that death and actually deserved it. Yeah, Noah was a little bit annoying, but Noah didn't deserve to be torn apart like that. Now, Jared's old evil self, Jared got exactly what he deserved. So, one savior is on the ground, he's dying, and he's basically asking Rick, you know, why did you do this? We could have lived after all this. And Rick was like, well, I lied, bam, and shot him in the head. And just like, I figured Rick would do this. I didn't think he was going to save these people. Rick is in revenge mode. I believe Rick has his murder coat on. He has the murder beard. It's coming back full in effect. Rick is in his element at this point. So Morgan pops up. He says everybody turns. Now Rick wants to know why Morgan saved him. And I'm just like waiting for Morgan to say something philosophical, and the only thing that Morgan says was because his son was there. So in other words, Morgan saved Rick so that his son would not see him be as brutal as he had to be at that point, because things were still new and his son was so precious and so innocent, and that's also why his son died, unfortunately, in my opinion. Negan tells Jadis she did not lose herself, and he asks her to come with him and follow a new path. Jadis is like, nah, that's your path. Negan says, well, I'll be back, and who knows, maybe you'll want to share. Carol stumbles up. So Carol is still looking for Henry, and she hears him scream, help, help. And I think it was awesome how the actor playing Henry is the brother of the actress who played Sophia. And it's crazy how his character ended up hiding in a spot that was similar to where Rick left Sophia in season 2 and told her to stay, and she ran off. He stayed, and Carol was able to save him. Oh, that was a powerful, powerful scene. He apologizes to her. She apologized to him. She was like, no, I was wrong. You can survive. And then they head back. They head inside of the hilltop. And to see Ezekiel's face when he saw Henry, oh my goodness. If I'm going to say it, I'm just going to say it right now. No, Henry doesn't have his brother, but he has a father figure in Ezekiel for now. Because I'm afraid that Ezekiel may be killed off before the end of this season. If he's not killed off by then he'll be killed off probably before the second half of season 9. But he has a father figure in Ezekiel and a mother figure in Carol. Carol talks to Ezekiel, and she was like, you know what, you were right, I was afraid. But Ezekiel's like, no, you were no coward. And then Carol starts talking about Sophia, her daughter, and how Team Family helped her find a better version of herself. And she feels like at some point it can be swept away, but that doesn't mean that she cannot find it again. So she feels a sense of hope, and she's holding hands with Ezekiel. And it reminds me so much of Michonne and Ezekiel's relationship in the comic books. So much. Then Morgan and Rick return, and that somber mood turns dark because it's clear that they had to kill those other saviors. Morgan sees Henry, but he has to make sure that Henry's alive. He tells Henry, I killed the man that killed your brother, and Henry's just like, I'm sorry. And Morgan says, don't ever be sorry. I think Morgan also said that to Carl at one point. Did he say that to Carl? He said it to another child, but I thought it was Carl. I thought it was him. Or was it Henry's brother Ben? One of those two he said that line to previously. So Dean, the cute savior, knows that his fellow saviors are dead. Morgan is hurting, he's crying all alone, and I'm just worried like Morgan is going to do something, he's going to hurt himself, and I just don't want him to do that. Jadis is back in her little trailer. She has a suitcase. I guess she's going to wait until Negan comes back, or she's probably going to head out to the sanctuary, one of the two. Negan picks up somebody on the side of the road. Now, there's a debate on social media where people are saying it's probably Laura. Some people are saying it's probably Gregory. I think it's Gregory because if you look from far away, I don't see a feminine face. So I'm thinking it's Gregory in that car. But then again, it could be a fake out because you know how Walking Dead is with those fake out wide shots or those fake out ways of making you think one thing and then something else happened. Kind of like with the finale where some people thought that this one died, that one died. I'm talking about the season 6 finale. Then season 7 proved that it was 2 different people with 2 different perspectives. I think it's something crazy like that, but I still believe that it's Gregory looking worse for wear. So he pulls up, and I'm talking about Negan this time, and this savior who's kind of nice looking with a beard and this long hair, and he gets on one knee and he's so happy to see Negan, and Negan's like, keep your mouth shut, don't tell him I'm here because I have all sorts of surprises to roll out, and I cannot wait until Negan has his time with Simon. I'm ready for that. And here's the thing, Daryl and Rosita have another plan, as if Rosita's plan hasn't already blown up and gotten Olivia killed and then ended up leading Sasha basically to her death, even though I know Sasha had a mind of her own, but still. And Daryl got Glenn killed, and Daryl got somebody else killed, and Daryl's the reason why the saviors escaped the sanctuary. Those two together, Daryl and Rosita, need to go sit down because this idea with shooting the people at the bullet shop, it's not going to turn out well, and somebody's going to die. Someone's going to die. I can feel it. And if it's somebody I like, I'm going to be really, really mad with those two characters again. So Rick thanks Michonne, and he says that he's sorry. He loves her. She loves him. They kiss, and he finally reads Carl's letter. So pretty much episode 15 is going to be a hot mess, and I am all here for it. We've got 2 episodes left, 15 and 16, and something major is going to happen in 15, I'm sure. And something epic is going to happen in 16. But one thing I'm happy about as far as episode 15 is concerned is we get to see what is going on with Aaron and the ladies of Oceanside, because we haven't seen Aaron in a very long time. I told you guys I'd do this review, but I didn't promise you because I hate promising you guys and telling you I'll do it early, then I end up doing it late and I break my promise. So I told you I was going to get it done, and I got it done at 7:16, and I'm happy as a clam. I finished one book this week, which was The Woman in the Window. by AJ Finn. Please go read that book. That book is amazing. Now I'm reading this young adult novel called Caraval. It's pretty awesome. Pretty good. But you all take care, and I'll be back because I'm going to review episode 15. And let me know if you want me to review the newest season of Fear the Walking Dead, because I will do it. I need something else to review anyway, so I love you all. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys. Love you all. Bye.